Hi everyone, it's me again, and today we're going to do another post-work filming a video moment because y'all loved it last time, and I want to yap about Girl World because I'm tapped in like it's another full-time job. I once again forgot to put on lip gloss. This is because everyone always asks me, this is the Milk Odyssey lip oil in Globetrotter, trying to match the eyes. I know it doesn't match my host scaring music shirt, my JPEG Mafia shirt, but it's because I had a different sweater on while I was working. So, I also want to mention that I have linked the Operation Olive Branch sheet again. I had not linked it for a little bit because of the nature of some of the videos when we're talking about things like Alexa Nicholas, for example, but also when there's sponsored content. The contract kind of implies that I'm not allowed to do that, and I'm really scared of the FTC and the US government. But it's linked right now. The master sheet is there and I've donated before. I just don't mention where because GoFundMe will use my full legal government name no matter how many times I try to change it. So anyway, that's down below. I did have another video, like how to go through and navigate it. If you would like that, again, I'll put it in my next upload that's not sponsored, as long as I'm able to link it. Anyway, other links, source of ways to support the channel, all down below. I do applaud you, especially for the holiday season. You want to be generous to support those GoFundMes instead of this GoFundMe, like me. I work full time on top of doing this, so the bills are paid. What did Tammy Slayton say? Like, I pay my bills are paid, or whatever. So I would really applaud for you to donate instead of giving money to me. So, and all that, but I am very grateful for my current members and patrons regardless. Their names are on screen right now. I love y'all deeply. Here are the parts of the video. It's not parts. I'm not really scripting this, obviously, based on how unhinged it's already been. This is kind of just the stuff I want to talk about. So I'm going to start with more on Amberlynn Reid and Tommy / Emily / that lady, new girlfriend. We're going to react to a video because when I was watching, who did I watch react to it? I think Jordy. Girl. I started laughing. Like, I was like, anyway, you'll see. And then we're going to talk about Rarity being missing. Rarity's a cat. And then we're going to end with a Foodie Beauty update. Because I'm sorry. I know this is like my unpopular opinion or whatever. The Shantopoulos, to me, way more interesting. Like, I am a Foodie Beauty girl. Like, through and through. I think it's because I'm Canadian. And I, like, grew up in, like, the Ottawa-Gatineau region. So I'm just, like, attached to Chantal like that. Quick side tangent. There is, well, more on Amberlynn Reid and Tommy, so for me later when I want to chapter the video. But okay, how do I explain this? So there's the Figure It Out Google extension. So my job, I've moved departments since I started. But when I was starting at first, I was working, like, with customers. And, I worked in a bunch of different times. I would have to work with people from a bunch of different time zones. So there's like the Figure It Out Google extension that when you open a new tab, it will show you like a spread of time zones. My manager like looked at my computer and was like, why does everybody have that? And I'm like, oh, it's because we used to work with a bunch of different people, different time zones, blah, blah, blah. And then he goes, yeah, but why did for Central Time you picked Oklahoma City? And in my head, I'm like, how do I tell him that I only know that that's Central Time because Amberlynn Reid lives there? So in my head, I'm like, how do I lie? So I said like, I just knew Oklahoma was in the middle, kind of. And like, I typed in Oklahoma and then Oklahoma City came up. Anyways, so I'm like, I gotta at least look like I kind of go outside, even though my manager showed the new hire in my YouTube videos. Anyways, when we're talking about Amberlynn Reid and Tommy, Tommy's real name is Emily. Based on everything that I've gathered, I'm going to call her Emily because I think the only reason the Tommy thing doesn't appear to have anything tied to like a gender preference, name preference, or anything like that. Based on what I've put together, I actually think she wanted to be called Tommy as to not have so much bad attention on the internet tied to her actual name. Because also, there was a clip where Amber and Emily made little like gifts for each other, and it was Amber plus Emily. So Amber's calling her Emily. So it's just like, and we'll get into why I feel this way afterwards. But anyway, 2 weeks ago, as of filming this, Oh Lordy, It's Jordy made a stream called Amberlynn Reid Needs to Wake Up, which was talking about an older instance that Emily was involved with. Quick aside before I get into it. For those of you who are locked into the Girl World Factory shift, like I am, so y'all know who FFG is, probably French Fry Girl. We'll talk about her later because that's also going to be a part of the Foodie Beauty developments, obviously. Because I'm going to be talking about the last couple months of Foodie Beauty because I've been wanting to. But when I talk about Foodie Beauty, I get like 6 views and I'm just like not into it, right? But if I'm already going to be talking about Amber, I'm going to talk about everybody. So FFG is like Chantel's arch nemesis. And FFG is like on Chantel all the time. Like foot on the throat, dead ass. And Jordy, like, why is Jordy Amberlynn Reid's FFG? Like, I literally tweeted, I said, at this rate, Jordy's gonna rescue Twinkie from Wisconsin, but then Rarity went missing. And Jordy said, I would look for Rarity if Wisconsin wasn't so far from Pennsylvania. Like I said, my theory, Jordy is to Amberlynn, FFG is to Flobby Bobby Foobie Boobie. So, essentially, what Jordy revealed in the stream, Jordy had been put into contact with, or he had seen this like fringe TikTok, because I follow Jordy on Twitter. He's like one of the only reaction channels that doesn't notice me, but it's okay. And he said, he tweeted like this like image of a TikTok that had like 5 likes, and it was somebody being like, Emily, you'll rue the day. Essentially, like kind of like that, being like, girl, your time is coming. Jordy goes, does anybody know who this is? Like asking for a friend. And then, presumably, somebody told him who it is because he got into contact with them. In turn, when he got into contact with them, they were like, oh, yeah, I know. I've known Emily, like, we went to high school together, whatever. And did they ever know Emily, girl? So this person who's remained nameless to this point, I'm sure Kiwi Farm figured out who she is. Not my circus or my monkeys, I fear. This lady said, hey, Jordan, I was married to one of Emily's ex-girlfriends. Emily got with my ex-wife as we were getting divorced. Kind of alluding that like Emily kind of stole her almost. Now those types of intricacies I could not give less of a rat's booty about if I'm going to keep it real. But in this, the lady knows what treatment her ex-wife was getting from Emily because they were still talking to each other because it was kind of like towards the end of their divorce. Now, here's the treatment that was happening, apparently. So the lady, Emily's ex-girlfriend / this lady's ex-wife is named Megan. Megan had diabetes. Megan has diabetes. Megan was a bigger girl. And Emily, essentially, was forcing her to have protein shakes. She snored a lot, presumably because of what could likely have been untreated sleep apnea from being a bigger girl with diabetes that was running rampant in her body or whatever. Plus, there was a lot of like food stuff going on, and Emily banished this girl to sleep in the basement because her snoring was too loud for her to deal with. And then also, there was claims that there was a lot of like really intense fighting in the relationship between Megan and Emily. But at first, Emily love bombs. Emily tends to find people in complex states of like their mental health. And Emily is apparently a psych NP or a psych nurse, which a lot of people are saying things like, oh, so because she's a psych NP, she knows how to manipulate people and knows how to push people's buttons. Here's my tea on that. I've always found that to be stupid when people say things about that. I think it really degrades psychology as a practice and as a field of study. You do not take Psych 101 or you do not take a cognitive psych course and they go, here's the how to manipulate people chapter. That's always been such a weird, it's the same reason why rhetoric as a concept, it's probably why I'm so pissy about it, has been kind of devalued in the education sphere and in curricula because it's considered a manipulative practice. Understanding how to communicate effectively is only manipulative if you're manipulative to begin with. Like, you don't learn, like, that's not how that works. I really don't know how else to, like, lay that out. Anyway. Emily and Megan, the relationship devolves, things get really bad, and then they get into this huge fight apparently where they're wrestling in the bed, so Megan wants to look at Emily's phone, presumably because she thinks Emily's cheating. They're kind of fighting, you know, like when two people say, and then they're fighting or whatever. But because Megan had been getting progressively bigger in the relationship, because that's what Tommy does, because Tommy's a hypothetically, allegedly in Minecraft, a feeder, but not really hypothetically, allegedly in Minecraft, because she had a fetish site account where she posted content about it. But anyway, so these two girls are getting in a fight. essentially what happens, it sounds like, is Emily falls into the bed with the phone, and then the girl, Megan, falls on her, and then a rib cracks. Which is bad. Not good. So what ends up happening is Emily goes into her work. They work at the same place, by the way. They work at a hospital. Forgot to say that. Unscripted, as mentioned. And she's like, Megan abused me, whatever. Then, essentially what happens is they get into a really, really bad altercation one day where Megan ends up trapping Emily in a garage. And apparently there's like a weapon involved to kind of hold her there or something. Now, a lot of these details have been spared for the sake of, honestly, just like being respectful to Megan, based on what the person was telling Jordy. I'm going to link Jordy's streams down below because my retelling is not very good. A lot of this is just to build context for the video I'm going to react to because that gagged me so bad. It's really bad. So, essentially what happens is the person's talking about Megan to Jordy in DMs and is saying essentially that, like, Megan was, like, horribly abused in the entire relationship. And it was super horrible, and she ended up at her wit's end with Emily, which is what resulted in the end of the relationship. Then Amberlynn Reid comes on, makes a video called Explaining Everything, or something like that. I'll put the thumbnail on screen. Which was just a clickbait for a Q&A. Q&A, softball shit. Essentially another component of the Making Positive PR for Emily campaign that Amberlynn keeps trying to do that nobody's falling for. Amberlynn Reid's also saying that, like, because people are saying that Amberlynn Reid's not really uploading to YouTube anymore because kind of the nature of a lot of feeder and feedee relationships based on kind of just like how they've been described is there's a big emphasis on dependence. That's like a big point. Control is a big part of it, where the feeder wants the feedee to be completely dependent on them. And people are saying that that's also a component of like why Amberlynn Reid's not uploading, because people are kind of gathering that Emily's kind of being like, oh, well, I can pay for you. You don't have to do this. People treat you so nasty online. They're so awful to me online. So as an excuse to not want to have Amberlynn Reid uploading or working anymore to kind of make her more dependent on her, right? So what ends up happening too is like, oh, it's so much. It's just, I'm laughing because it's like, God, there's so much to explain. What ends up happening is Amberlynn says on video that she's so happy with Emily and everything's amazing, but she's just depressed because of like the time of year. But then she's only been sad this time of year like last year. Specifically when her relationship ended and she moved across the country, which is kind of just a lot to deal with. So a lot of people are saying that's a load of hullabaloo as well, which I understand. Then, once Jordy did another stream where there was more detail added in with the Megan story, where Megan's ex-bestie comes in and says, yes, I was around while this is happening. Yes, this is all true. Plus, the people sleuthing on Kiwi Farms somehow, I don't know, I guess they saw like an image with the sun at a 30-degree angle and figured out that they were in North Carolina at 2 p.m. on Tuesday, January 18th, 2006, as they always do. They figured out that the story is true. Or, genre. Oh my God. They're saying, like, it seems to add up. That's what I'm going to say, okay? This is a very gossipy video because nobody will talk to me about this in real life. This is like the whole point of making the videos. I want to gossip with my comment section. There's the new video that Amberlynn Reid puts out, which is specifically talking about the Tommy rumors. Emily, whatever. Essentially saying that, like, the story's fake and why you just believe reaction channels or whatever. And then Amberlynn Reid starts victimizing Emily. Emily, who has been a confirmed feeder based on the feedie stuff. Plus, her last fiance passed away seemingly due to weight-related causes, to which she moved on to Amberlynn within 2 months of. Plus, there's just so much evidence online of so many other horrible things. So Amber's like, time to make Emily the victim of everything, as always, because I want people to feel guilty. Me, Amberlynn Reid, who has accused my ex, I guess, boyfriend of, I'm just trying to like figure out the verbiage here, that accused my ex-boyfriend of Rain and Petals eavesdrop. which was fake, have physically assaulted Destiny Beck, Jade, confirmed, by either the direct parties involved / Alexis. Also, she was just really mean to Crystal, and we just don't have confirmation on if there was any physical stuff with Crystal. But she said, like, oh, Crystal gets out of the way of my binge or she's gonna get it. So, and then Amberlynn Reid makes a video being a martyr about DV. And I'm gonna react to that now. I'm gonna react to that after I film this. So if the lineup is a bit strange, that's why. But I'm gonna get into that. I'm just gonna put it in next because of chronological order, essentially. But anyway, get to that. Okay, hi besties. I'm here for the reaction part. Now, first off, now that I see myself on the... Oh my god, I have the phone flashy thing. My bad, gang. Anyway, now that I see myself in the big viewfinder, I'm like, why does this look giving kind of... I don't want to say goth, because if I say goth, but like... It's like darker than I thought. It's kind of sultry. I just like put on a Super Shock shadow and did like blue inner liner to match the color of the shadow. And again, 12 hours old. See, the brows are still laminated? Shout out to that brow freeze. Anyway, let's get right into the news. So, we're going to be watching... I wish I could copy Alex's Shook's introduction, but I can't remember what it is right now. Hi, guys. Alex here, and I'm here to... Welcome to Girl Talk or something. Anyway. Here... Oh, by the way, this is the... I've been watching the Do Not Worry podcast. I've been really enjoying that. Anyway, so... Here is the video we're going to watch. I have it on 1.3 speed because I'm sorry. Talk's too slow. The community said, nah. Look at that ratio. That is horrendous. So, the audience usually... Oh my god. Why am I already reading a comment, girl? What am I doing? Anyway, this ratio is crazy because they're right. We'll get into this soon. But just even looking at the comments, right? The audience usually defends and sides with your partners almost always. Ask yourself why it's different this time. True. I think the only partner that people didn't like 100% side with on face value was Destiny for some parts, because Destiny said the N word on camera and stuff. So, you know, but also Destiny was like really young and really immature. That's why I matched Amber's maturity, because she's like 10 to 15 years behind on average. As well, this is the video that she clickbaited everything, like the addressing everything video there. So, let's get into watching this. But, yeah, it's, like, not good. So let me do this. I'm also going to put the closed captions on because I appreciate besties.
Hello, welcome to a new video. So, this is not clickbait. Yes,
I already know this is too quiet. Let me turn this up.
We'll be talking about the things that are being said about Tommy. So, I actually already have a couple videos, really exciting videos and happy videos filmed.
This is in reference, by the way, to Jordy's streams I talked about before. That's the, like... conversations being had. When she says a couple of videos, really exciting videos, she meant that she milked one night going to a Billie Eilish concert across 2 videos. Yes.
I don't have them edited yet or anything like that, but I do have them up. That was what was going to be going up next. But since this has happened, I feel compelled. Like, there are a lot of times where
she's so comically entitled for being such a bitch. Like, and I say it's because I think she's a horrific person. I do. I kind of think she's worse than Chantel, because Amberlynn Reid, being a bit smarter than Chantel, I find has been able to like reach and have a higher and negative impact to other people. The reason why Mr. Snowflake, and I had him on the video and I interviewed him and everything, because him and I are like this when it comes to like Amberlynn's biggest ops. Like, I think she's like a horrific human being, and I just think it's like not really that arguable. Like, I really can't. And she's really like being like, I could have done nice things for you, but you slighted me, so I won't. The nice things being the worst the worst quality 8-minute vlogs you've ever seen. Yeah. Anyway, I'll keep going. Again, me after work, girl. This is the thing. It's because it's like, again, Amberlynn, try working sometime. Like, I'm making like 42 hour long videos essentially weekly while working full time. And I was doing that while going to school full time too. And it's like, and I'm not going to guilt trip my audience because I might be a little bit busy or something. It's whack. It's just a very bad way to treat the people who have enabled you almost to a certain degree.
rumors are happening and things are being said where I just keep my mouth shut. Maybe I'll like mention it like on the low, maybe like on Instagram or just in passing. But like this video is like strictly dedicated. I even wrote something because I wanted to be like in a clear mind. And as you guys know, I love to write. I love to journal. I'm able to collect my thoughts so much better in writing versus like speaking out loud. You guys know me, like your girl can't speak half the time. And I'm not gonna lie, I have a lot of anxiety right now filming this video. And when I am anxious, my brain does not work correctly. Like words do not come out correctly. I just feel very, like a lot. It just feels like a lot right now. So I decided to write.
This reminds me of when Sala had his like poop arc, which is when like we call it Poopgate. That was top 5 girl world moments for me personally, but that's besides the point. I've talked about that before. I have a video on that if you want to see. So, I definitely have too much lip gloss on. Hold on. Hold the phones. It reminds me of the Sala thing where it's like, I'm so much of a piss baby that I'm going to have my lolcow hated on the internet partner come online and fend for me. And a lot of people were saying this thing that she read was clearly written by Emily, which I feel like is kind of true just because the diction and like the way that it was written. I don't know if diction is the right word. I have an English degree, but she don't do anything. It's like the way that it's written is like really clearly not similar to how she's ever spoken or written things. And written about things. And that wasn't a grammatically correct sentence either, but who cares? And Amberlynn Reid's like, even though I say she's smarter than Chantel, like the bar's in hell, right? Like she's not that sharp either. And it's like, it's just like, get a grip. Either just fade out and shut the hell up, or like stop trying to make someone fight your battles for you. It's really pathetic.
Like in journal form, the way that I would write in my journal, and I am going to read it to you guys because it's going to help me because I do feel very anxious and I do want to like have collective thoughts. I don't want to forget anything, and this is very important to me that I get this out in this moment. So before I read it, I just want to explain like in short form, this is about a reaction channel who was contacted by Tommy's ex-girlfriend's ex-wife.
Jordy!
And this woman was immediately put on a pedestal and everything that she said was believed. People have taken every.
The crazy part is like, that's a lie. Like even Jordy talks about it. I think he mentioned in the stream, the chat, whatever. People, and he keeps saying, take this with a grain of salt. Like the fact that it's like there were tons of disclaimers, tons of like people being like, you know, there's people always take these things with hesitance. There's been so many things that have happened. Someone made like, I remember it was a couple years ago, made this like fake Reddit post saying that like they knew Becky really well or something like that, and we're like, oh yeah, Amberlynn's highest weight was 680 pounds. Becky was like wiping her booty for like years or something like that, and all this kind of stuff. And it was just like, people have been able to vet things before. And like I said, the reason why this even started to be kind of believed was because of the people on Kiwi Farms that can like look at their reflection of the light in my glasses and know, and like put my address on 4chan, like finding out what happened, essentially. You know what I mean?
Everything that she said as gospel and as truth, because a lot of you want someone to hate, and it's.
This is just my advice from someone who's dealt with a lot of really unpleasant people in my lifetime. The line, you want someone to hate, is one of the most manipulative lines that someone can say to you. People, I've talked about this before. I talked about this with Michaela Nagara too. People don't tend to blindly hate. There tends, especially somebody they don't actually know in person, it tends to be, and again, so much of this is like, it's just that weird acrylic nails Snapchat story from 4 years ago being like, I'm so much better than the majority of you. That's all that is. It's all this is, really.
It's easy for you guys to hate Tommy for whatever reason. You guys don't know her.
Okay, side tangent again. So I was watching this on the Jordy stream. So when she said you guys want to hate Tommy for whatever reason, I was cooking dinner. Me, my man, and Jordy in unison said, for whatever reason. Like Jordy paused, all three of us said it at the exact same time, because people have been like, so it's so wild to me. On one hand, you're making a video saying these things that you've heard about Tommy are making y'all hate her, and I don't like that. And also saying y'all don't have no reason to hate her and you're making it up. Based on your own logic, you would not need to be making this video if there wasn't something that exists that could lead link to a reason to hate Tommy. pebbles in there. Marbles.
In person like I do, and I'm telling you, she is lovable and likable, and I am happy and in love with her. And I know a lot of people want to like twist this like really dark narrative, but I'm telling you, it's not real. So I'm sorry I couldn't be like a little more put together, and I'm sorry that I'm bad with my words, the fact that I have to literally look like this and read to you guys, but it's what is going to work best for me, which I have done this before, and it's usually only during like super like anxiety inducing situations for me. And I do it in my real life as well. There are a multitude of times in my life where instead of like speaking to someone, I will write something and then I'll read it off to them. It's helpful, it's therapeutic. I learned it years and years ago.
Someone did that to me once, and they were reading it like shit, and I just said, let me read it. And they're like, no, I have to read it to you. And the way that like the whole time I was like, I don't know why, fault of my character maybe, there's nothing on earth that pisses me off more than someone reading some shit right in front of me. I'm like, have the respect to speak to me. Obviously there's limitations to that, but like,
actually in therapy, probably like when I was like 17 or something. And ever since then, it has greatly helped me. But I am sorry that I will be facing this way the whole time. But yeah, please hear me. Like, please hear me. I know there's a difference between like listening to someone and that's that, goes in one ear and out the other, and you build your...
Really basic, she got it backwards. Hearing is the like not registering kind of thing, and listening is that retention. But anyway, what did she say? She had 140 IQ or something like that?
Assumptions, and you don't really care. But like, I need you guys to hear what I am saying, please. I truly hate that I have to do this. I want my channel to reflect what's real in my life and not constantly having to make videos like this, defending Tommy's character because of a reaction channel who is so hungry for views and money and hot tea that they have created a whole false storyline.
Jordy might be hungry for money, girl, but like, man, holy, like, my life would change if I made old Lordy It's Jordy money for a week. If I had a cat's damn meow or Katie Bird give me $500 donos or $500 worth of members per stream, and I stream every day, girl. And I know I talk about the money a lot, like on things like this. Like, the thing is, like, I don't do this for money the same way that other people do, because it's like not my career or whatever. I'm just always like, because when you're in it, you understand more like how life-changing it is and how much it can really be. And like Jordy, like, whoa, it's a lot of money. Like, probably take what you think and double it.
That has thousands and thousands of people believing it. It's unfair to me, and it's unfair to Tommy. This is not the first time this reaction channel has done this.
You have monetized and documented years of your partners. No one owes you anything, let alone fairness to an assessment of a situation where you are outwardly manipulating people. Anyways,
they have platformed a few people as long as they were willing to spill tea and share whatever could cause me or other people in my life to look bad for their benefit. There have been some serious misrepresentations made in a recent video on that reaction channel about an extremely painful chapter in Tommy's life. The video, which talks about a domestic violence situation involving Tommy and her ex, fails to include important facts, so it paints a false and harmful narrative. And I want to be very clear. Tommy is the victim here, not the one at fault. The details in the video were based on inaccurate and incomplete information from a third party with a clear agenda. Someone who has...
There is a documented public history of Emily's transgressions. This is why people are inclined to believe these things. There seems to be this constant cognitive dissonance about any behavior patterns with these people, and it boggles my mind.
Openly stated that their goal was to get revenge for their own personal reasons, and even admitted that they've tried to get revenge in the past. This kind of victim shaming is not only misleading, it's downright disgusting. It wasn't a simple incident in a garage.
Amberlynn and Chantel will guilt trip, they'll lie, they'll scheme, they'll verbally berate, they'll abuse themselves, and then throw shaming on the back of whatever they want. House shaming, weight shaming, the victim shaming, and this victimization or whatever. I'm not necessarily saying that Emily had never been in a consensual situation with this person, but you lose the credibility of that possibility when you're having someone known to be manipulative, deceitful, and selfish and vengeful relay these things for you.
As you can see from the charges listed about Tommy's ex, there was a weapon involved. A weapon. Please just think about that for a minute. With multiple ways to escape a garage, Tommy couldn't. Think about why. The truth is that her abuser was charged with felony charges for their actions, and Tommy has spent years working on healing and working through trauma her ex caused. A lot of people are saying that Tommy must have provoked her into holding her hostage with a weapon for hours. If that were true, Tommy's ex would not have been convicted. Provoking someone or
You know what? I'm going to think of an example of this. Think of like the Blanchard family, right? Dee Dee Blanchard, who abused her daughter, right? Her daughter, Miss Rose Blanchard, still went to jail. Just because sometimes, like, the other thing is, too, I really hate because the thing is, people will move the goalposts anyways. This is, like, really prevalent when we're talking about, like, for example, like, Megan Thee Stallion, right? The legal system is not the be-all, end-all of every situation and the morality around a situation. Like, it's not that simple. And I remember with Tory Lanez, people said, oh, I'll believe that he shot Meg if he's guilty. And now there's a whole free Tory campaign because he's in jail for shooting Megan Thee Stallion. Right? The goalposts will be moved regardless. And this is just an example of something like that happening. It's like Emily could have emotionally abused this person for months and months and months, but because they didn't gather tangible evidence, it doesn't work like that. Things can build up. But if one person snaps before the other, I'm playing with a back scratcher because I'm angry. They can be the ones to go to jail or to get a charge. It's not that simple. Again, very manipulative. The lack of nuance is leading into that concept of that manipulation.
Defense, it would not have gotten her ex convicted for the millionth time, period. It's incredibly hurtful to see the narrative twisted.
People get convicted for shit they didn't even do all the time. That's the other thing.
This way, and I feel compelled to speak out because no one should ever be made to feel like they are the perpetrator when they are the victim. Domestic violence is a serious issue, and we should.
Amberlynn Reid, the spokesperson for making sure that victims are not perpetrators, because Amberlynn's got a lot of experience. Like, she knows a perpetrator when she sees one. Real, recognized real, because she's abused all of her partners, essentially, documented online for people to see. That's why this video was like again, I feel the rage coming back. I was just sitting there, like, there's a part where I just sat there, like, I was like I think I was making pasta bakes, but I keep doing that, and I just, like, my mouth hung open, and I'll tell y'all when that comes.
Should be lifting up those who have suffered, not blaming them. I stand by Tommy because I know the full story, and I've known the full.
How does Jordy not know the full story from one of two parties versus you also only knowing it from one end?
The whole time. These people have decided to leave out, and I quote, I don't want to go into details. That is what this person said when talking about Tommy being falsely imprisoned by her ex. Why? Because it would leave people empathizing with Tommy. Instead, this person has exaggerated, lied, left out important information, and continues to create outrage against Tommy because they want revenge. This is the only way they know how to do it, and I want to make something very clear, that the abuse that Tommy endured is real, and she deserves justice and support, not ridicule and not doubt. She definitely does not deserve a reaction channel making a spectacle over something that Tommy has spent years trying to heal from. Having this come to light, speculated about, and joked about has left a bad taste in my mouth, and I'll tell you that for sure. I have been distant from YouTube already due to the harsh things that have been said and have been lied about. Certain reaction channels have only gotten worse as the time goes on. My channel has been boring. It went through a law, so they've been starving. Because of that,
my sister in Christ has been boring for like 5 years. Since like 2019.
They've lost their minds, and they're actively painting a narrative about Tommy that isn't real. Bringing in anonymous strangers to the storyline and believing every word that is being said, all while using the word allegedly.
I think the wildest thing is that Jordy's track record for bringing people in is really good. Because Jordy brought in Erica and Brittany last. And almost Alexis. So it's like, you can't even prove a time where he brought someone on and they weren't involved or it was dishonest, because they're confirmed to be the right people.
So YouTube terms of service isn't broken by them, and so the law doesn't get involved for actual slander and defamation. If you guys ever wanted to know what slander and defamation looks like, it has been months and months of what Tommy has been experiencing since certain reaction channels found out who she was. This has altered Tommy's life, and I have witnessed it. It has also altered mine. Without revealing how, I'm pretty sure it's apparent. Imagine something like this happening to you. Thank you to those who have been supportive and continue to believe in the truth and don't follow the crowd. I see you, and I'm sorry that the hate and the rumors are louder right now, but I still see you, and I love you dearly. To those
us versus them mentality is like one of those really basic, like, illogical fallacies. I don't remember which one because I don't care right now. Like, brain rot. It's a Friday night too. It's a Friday night, and what was it? Booty shorts, cause my paper long. It's a Friday night. So, Glorilla said something like that once. I don't. So, like, my brain's extra rotted because I just worked the whole week. Oh, look at me. I'm so sad. I worked a 5-day week. Hitting me, but like, that's a joke because it's literally Black Friday today. So, like, retail people have worked harder than I have an entire month in the last day. But point is, it's like, I lost my train of thought a little bit because, yes, the us versus them mentality. She is this constant state of division to make people steer away from wanting to be nuanced about the situation. That's what I'm getting from this.
Spreading misinformation, I hope you take a moment to consider the impact your words have and the harm caused when the real victims are silenced or blamed. It's easy for reaction channels to say whatever they want because they know their words have impact and their audience believes whatever is said to them. This situation just proves it. Tommy was majorly abused, held hostage for hours.
Just a reference, I don't know if I have to say this out right, but I think this is obvious just based on how I discuss my videos. Y'all don't need to believe a single word that I say. Really. That's why I make a point to prove so many things with, like, other sources, right? And that's why I said I literally made this because I want to talk with y'all in the comment section.
In a garage with a weapon. And I don't feel comfortable saying what the weapon was, but use your brain for this one, please. And she was finally able to escape, and her ex went to prison for it. And now has a felony, but somehow this reaction channel was able to manipulate their audience and to believe.
I think both Jory and, like, Kiwi Farms, maybe, were like, no, she never even got, like, she got convicted, I think, but, like, never went to anything for that.
Believing that Tommy is the abuser. This is why victims do not share their story. And the sad thing is, Tommy didn't share hers. Someone else did. And it wasn't even the right story. It's unfair. It's twisted.
This is why victims don't share their story. While you've been someone literally trying to slander Beck for talking about you and the things that you did to them. You horrific human being. This is what I mean. Like, this is why I get, like, FFG to Chantel level angry at this at Miss Ambo here, because it's like it's just so evil.
And it's morally wrong. This isn't a game. This isn't for money. This isn't for views. This is Tommy's real life that is being ruined and her mental health is being destroyed. The victim blaming all because people want drama and someone to hate is the grossest thing I've ever seen happen on Girl World. And thank you, Jordy, for reminding me why I hate this community and why I do not belong here anymore. This should have never happened. I should not have had to do this. Tommy should not have had her personal domestic violence abuse story used for views and money on a reaction channel.
Yeah, you just use you doing it for money. Like, I'm saying this with my chest now because there's just no way around it.
That's not a reaction. That is downright hatred. And people wonder why I don't want to upload. People wonder where I am. Why do I seem so sad every time I come on camera? This is why. Because before, it was, Amberlynn's so fat. She needs to lose weight. Step on the scale. But now things are serious. Reaction channels have morphed into something that is despicable. While I'm trying to improve my life and myself as a person and work on my BPD, reaction channels have gotten worse. They're morphing into monsters. I'm not saying all of them because that's not the case, but there are a few. I should not be kicked off of a platform that I have been on for 11 years because I'm this harassed. There's a difference between online hate versus straight up harassment that is destroying mine and my girlfriend's mental health and life. It's not okay. And I don't know what else to say about it. Every time I express myself, I am met with invalidation and I'm gaslighted into feeling this small. I am gaslighted into believing that I deserve this or that Tommy deserves this when we don't. So many of you scream, Tommy isn't good for you, Tommy's gonna hurt you, but it's being screamed by the people who are actively every single day hurting.
You're gaining weight, dummy. I really don't. You've had many health conditions indirectly in relation to your weight. You're clearly visually gaining weight for someone who has shown on a platform dedicated to liking that. Ça va être vraiment simple. It's so simple.
Me. You don't care. You don't care about me. You don't care about my well-being. You get high off of the drama that my life brings to your channel, so you get views. And for the people watching and engaging in this sort of behavior, you are just as awful. This is a girl that is hurt. This is a girl that has been beaten and beaten and beaten, and it's like, it only just keeps getting worse.
Like what you were doing to your partners, you freak. Like that's like the I just can't comprehend the audacity. That's my thing, I think. And because I know what comes next, and I know that it somehow gets worse.
I don't know how much more I can take. I truly don't. This sort of behavior should not be allowed on YouTube. And I really hope that one day my voice is heard. If you are currently suffering with domestic violence, there is a national domestic violence hotline that you can call. You are not alone. The number is 800-799-7233, or you can text BEGIN to 88788. Do not let stories like these, like victim shaming or victim blaming, scare you into not getting help, because there are people who are there for you. Use your voice. You are loved and not alone.
Should have given Beck that number when they were dating you. And I'm not the first person to say that, to point that out. Because it's obvious. You are the worst person to possibly do this. Girl, this is why I did this at the end of the video, because I knew it would kill my vibe. Anyway, continue the rest of the video, girlies. Anyway, that's the end of that, like, train wreck video. Then, immediately after that, Amberlynn Reid has a lot on her mind because of all these reaction channels being horrible to her, that she leaves the door open and her cat runs away. Rarity, that she got when she was with Destiny. So essentially what happened with Rarity going missing, and Rarity's still missing, so people are presuming that the cat's either passed away or the cat's in a shelter because she didn't have a collar on for some reason, which is strange. / the cat's at someone's house or something. People are really hoping it's like the last one, which I understand as well. But there's no updates. Let me even check right now. Let me go check Big Al's channel, see if there's anything like a community tab post or something. Let me see. Big Ambo. What the Sigma? Nah. Happy Thanksgiving. That's it. These comments must be filtered T. So no updates. I just checked. Anyway, a poster comes out about Rarity. Her posting it somewhere, like on a Facebook group or something. A reaction channels comment on it, or whatever. They post on Twitter. Amberlynn Reid then makes a video talking about Rarity, where she's kind of just hysterically crying the whole time, saying that she just made one tiny mistake and that could cause the worst thing of her life and her life to fall apart. Says that she had a lot on her mind and that's why it happened, which is alluding to the reaction channels. And then literally, and why we know this for sure too, is she literally says in the video, well, if I don't talk about it and reaction channels did, then I look stupid. Why are you even thinking about that right now, my sister in Christ? Like, genuinely. And then, yeah, like I said, she's just it's the same thing as always, right? Like, it's like push the blame onto other people, project, whatever. Blame reaction channels for this happening. Comes into Jordy's chat, too, while Jordy's reacting to the video and talking about Rarity being missing and all that kind of stuff. Sorry, my face is itchy. This makeup's been on for like 12 hours. And calls Jordy sick. Says, you're sick. Jordy comes back with, oh my God, I was out with somebody. I think, I don't know what I was doing. Or I was at work or something. And I was like scrolling on Twitter and I saw Jordy's rebuttal and I started laughing so hard. Amberlynn Reid comes in and says, you're sick, in the chat. Jordy goes, girly, what are you doing in here? Instead of sitting in reaction channels chats, why don't you get a flashlight and look for your cat? Girl! Anyway, I will play that clip for you because that gagged me so bad. Like, I'm just like, it was so funny.
When I lived in Kentucky, actually.
Amber is here. You're sick. Well, Amber, how about instead of hanging out in my chat, you go get a flashlight and look for your cat?
Amberlynn Reid then makes a video called like The Truth or something, where she like shows how she forgot the door open because there's a curtain there. And again, was like, I had so much on my mind. I was thinking about how much I hate Jordy, and that made me neglect my cat. Because she makes it, she's doing this like blame shit. So Amberlynn Reid, which the BPD thing I think is a big concept of this obviously too, like this concept of like thinking in absolutes or very black and white, right? Like that's like a very like common symptom. I'm not necessarily saying that if that is or is not exactly what's happening, but I'm saying it's not out of the scope of reality, right? Is how I'll phrase that. So essentially she's saying like, well, if other people have lost their pets or their pets have been let out, so if you're saying that I'm neglectful for that happening, then you're saying that to everybody who's ever lost a pet. Okay. My dog has run out onto the road. You know, that only happened one time, and that was like the scariest like 30 seconds of my life. Because what happened was I had him on a leash, and then there's like a stairwell that's like, it's kind of like down, flat, down. It's like really steep. He like threw his body weight around the corner, and then the leash got wrapped on the pole, and then it like ripped out of my hand. And then like I was chasing after him down the stairs. It was like he threw his whole body mass, and like I was holding, and the way I was holding it, it was chained, so it got wrapped around my finger and like pulled, and then I was like ah, and then it fell. Okay, so obviously like it happens to everybody. Obviously my dog's fine, duh. He's like in the videos. This was like in March or something. So here's the thing. You're not neglectful because the cat got outside. You're neglectful because of all the other stuff. And I tweeted about this, so we already, the real ones, the Twitter girlies, know how I feel about this. I am going to read me tweet on it. So I said, Amberlynn made an entire video guilt-tripping people about Rarity. But the issue is not just the cat getting out. It's being too lazy to microchip / buy a tracker while having tons of money. The day we got Gus, he got a collar with my phone number, microchip, and an AirTag. Let me get a picture of my son with a cone on. There is so much you can do to prevent any issues, so as long as even if they get out, right? So I'm trying to see if there's a picture of my little bubby. So here's my man's with the cone on. And you see his little pink harness? On the back of that pink harness is an AirTag. So that's where his AirTag is. And then as well, you can actually see, it's really hard to see, but that little pink thing coming off his back, that's the AirTag. And then he also, when we got him neutered, we got him microchipped, right? So, and then the day we got him on like a Thursday or something, I think it was like the Saturday morning, I went to the pet store and got a tag with my name and my phone number on it. So phone number and AirTag were done the day we got him, pretty within the first 3 days that we had him. And it's like, I was like broke. And that was like my number one priority was like, if he gets lost, I want to be able to find him, right? So neglect is not just specifically like on a specific split-second event. It's the surrounding circumstances for it, if that makes sense. So this brings us now to, we're talking about pets. Let's go to Miss Folly Bobby Chantal, Foodie Beauty. Foodie Beauty. Oh boy. Lots been going on the Chantal list. I don't talk about Chantal that often, as I mentioned. Zero clout with that girl. So I don't want to. because I talk about her a lot in my real life. And because I'm working, my videos take a lot of effort and a lot of time. As you probably noticed, that's why they're so long. That's why this one is so much different than all my other ones. But it's because I just want to talk about it today. I just don't want to put in the energy for when it's already, like, I have to prioritize what I'm going to talk about, essentially. And I've talked about Chantal a few times. Again, not very successfully as well. And, okay, lost my train of thought. My friend called me. So, anyway, I was just talking about Foodie Beauty having no clout. It doesn't matter. So, I thought I was talking about FFG earlier. FFG, French Fry Girl, is a creator who lives in Montreal and is Foodie Beauty's arch nemesis. Okay? FFG is very, very, very controversial, and I get it because FFG does something that a lot of people refer to as cow tipping, which is when you screw with somebody in real life. FFG has intervened when Chantal was getting rid of her cat, BBJ, her senior cat, and essentially had her brother-in-law adopt the cat in order to confirm that she would be in good care. Now, I'm not going to get into my thoughts on FFG specifically because I'm scared. I don't want to start like a civil war because the thoughts are mixed and there's a lot of different feelings there. I appreciate FFG as a moniker of like the movement of like, or as a representation of like that whole kind of end of the internet and like her interaction with like keeping it interesting. Because honestly, Chantel would be the most boring thing ever. Like, people say like the reaction channels keep the girls relevant, Amberlynn Reid, Chantel, whatever. Amberlynn, I feel like, could still be an interesting anomaly on her own without the reaction channel universe, because she doesn't directly interact with them that much. Chantel, on the other hand, you need FFG to keep that interesting. Let's be real. So FFG is really mean. And again, this is where we get into the debate again, because like, is it kind of deserved? Like, tea, like, you know what I mean? But also, some of the stuff that she'll say is like kind of nuts to a certain degree about certain things. So for example, Chantel is a product of a teen pregnancy. Okay, her mom was 16. The dad's age is really confusing. It sounds like her mom got like, this is why I also don't know, because I'm also not this deep in. I'm not on QE, I'm not tracking birth certificate, I'm not doing all that kind of stuff. But to what it kind of sounds like, Chantel's mom got knocked up at 15 by a 19-year-old, Chantel's dad, who was already drinking a lot. Now, Chantel's mom was a minor. Okay, 15 is 10th grade in Quebec. So I've taught kids that age. The way that FFG talks about someone who is a minor at the time, like, even if a lot of these behaviors stuck throughout her life, like Chantel's mom's life, Shmi, how she talks about it, I can see being a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Not great. I don't know how else to say it. Like, so, I mean, your opinions on FFG, again, like, I'm kind of like, on one hand, I'm like, she rescued the cat, plus keeps things interesting, plus is still like a kind of a person outside of these things, unlike some other people that get involved in this stuff. FFG can also be considered I don't want to say, not a lolcow, there's like a word for it, I can't remember, but like essentially like a character in her own right in this whole saga. And I just don't agree. And I think the thing is too, I think why I have mixed feelings about FFG is because so FFG goes off a lot about like Chantel's ability to speak French and like all this other stuff, like experience living in Canada, whatever. I also live in Canada. I also speak French. I also have a lot of similarities with my upbringing and where I've lived and all that kind of stuff as like Chantel and FFG. So I'm also tapped in like that. FFG, and talking about Chantel's mom, Chantel was born of a teen pregnancy. FFG, I don't know how else to phrase this with like in like a PR way or whatever. She says that Shmi is a who got pregnant to try to keep her alcoholic boyfriend, who's also a to stay with her. Now, do I think a 15-year-old is trapping somebody? No. I really don't think that sounds like something you do when you're like, I don't know. So here's the thing. I think why I get so about it is because none of us were there. Like, and to say things like that about a child is like, I think for me, that's my line personally. So what ended up happening, God, I talked about FFG for so long. Like I said, it's because I have nuanced thoughts about these people and I like to be able to voice them. But I'm also scared. Like, I don't want to say anything with such certainty or whatever. And I think there's lots of open avenues for these types of discussions as well. And I've talked about too that, like, for example, like Charlie Gold, like some of them people are really mean and it's just not like my thing, right? With Chantel, she says that stuff about her, and Chantel, so FFG's mom passed away of cancer earlier this year, like in February or something like that. So Chantel's response was somehow worse, which I'm not necessarily surprised by. If I'm going to keep it a stack, right? She says she calls FFG's mom worm food. When I saw that, oh my God, I was like, FFG is about to eviscerate this woman. And that is exactly what happened. Mind you, FFG started posting pictures that I guess were kind of public or something of like Chantel's aunt calling her Uncle Phyllis. Uncle Phil? Uncle Phil. Her name's Phyllis. Which again, not my tea, not my vibe. Personally. And then Chantel goes on stream and she starts going, dead mom, dead mom, dead mom, like a baby, like a 5-year-old about FFG. And it was so nuts. Then all of a sudden Chantel's like, I don't care anymore. I'm on a diet. Okay. Presumably to try to get FFG to stop like verbally eviscerate her. Here's the other thing I feel like we have to kind of bring up. And FFG makes that bag. Like FFG like knows the game. Like I said, I think the reason why I think I have such complex feelings about her too is like I don't know where the line is between like the character and the person. So then she goes to Chantel's dieting or something, presumably just like stop being like annihilated. And then they put out Chantel and Poopy Man put out this vlog at a farm / petting zoo. And Chantel goes, I work so hard editing for an hour a month when I'm not eating gravy with a side of mashed potatoes that have butter in them and cheese. And says, I am copywriting all of my content from the couples channel. And that I'm paying for this like service thing or something where I can essentially claim the content from whoever I want, which your YouTube studio shows that. So I don't know why you're paying somebody, but anyway, Chantel has never necessarily been the sharpest crayon in the box. You know what I'm saying? Or the, brightest knife in the drawer, if you will. So that's been a thing. So Chantel's been saying she's going to copyright people. She privacy striked one of FFG's videos showing like public pictures from her dad's Instagram or something like that. There was like someone who like I think just fully re-uploaded her video. She's like strike them, stuff like that. Part of me wants to clip it just to see if she'll try it with me because I'm kind of like, girl, I got it, but I'm not gonna poke the bear. The cow, the Chantel. After that, suddenly people have been begging Chantel to spay her cat Julia for like over a year, saying that she's essentially neglecting the cat by not getting her spayed because she would go into heat and it was like really bad. And Chantel's has a history of neglecting cats. This is why FFG rescued BBJ in the first place. So, and that's something that I think, like, if we're going to talk about FFG again, it's like net positive with the cat thing. Like that, I feel like that's not that arguable. Like, even though it was like nuts as a concept, like if you think about it, like just on face value, it's like, in the end of the day, like the cat is healthy now and like surviving. And that's kind of important in this concept. But Chantel spays the cat, refuses to put the cone on her, and then the cat licked the incision like crazy to the point that she was throwing up like the silver tape coating that they used to like mark the incision. People see pictures or clips of videos from Chantel's streams, and it appears that the incision is opened. And now today, as I filmed this, I saw a tweet where someone showed that the stitches all of a sudden look different after Julia's last appointment, which appears that they have had to reclose the incision. So I think based on kind of context, I think what happened was they had either glue or dissolving stitches in the first time, and then now they have like those hard metal kind of stitches that you need to get taken out. That's what Gus had, like the ones that are like black and you have to get them pulled out. Not metal, but they're really sharp. They're pointy. I don't know why I said metal. Anyway, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Black one. So now people are like, holy Christ, Chantel. Like, you can't do anything right. I agree with that, for real. And everyone's really upset about the cat. Anyways, that's my Girl World update. I'm going to end the video here. I hope y'all have an amazing day. Please donate down below. Thank you again to my members and patrons. Lots of videos coming for the month of December. One, because I'm just kidding. Actually, just because I have to actually have a lot of ideas right now, which has not happened to me in a long time. So when that happens, I start putting them out because I'm like, we got to get this going. Regardless, more to come. Love y'all. Thank y'all for watching, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye.
I should have known Holly Weird was gonna find a way to make Wicked woke. First of all, why is the witch green? Green means go. Go is good. Red means stop. So, what are you telling me now, that all the stoplights are gay or something?